Hey there, my name is Joanna Batio. I'm a medical doctor by profession. As we all know, today is World Health Day, World Mental Health Day. I just wanted us to talk about some mental illness. What comes to your mind when you hear mental health? Well, for most people, it could be depression. For me, most of the time, it's depression. But today, I wanted to talk about mental illnesses whose onset is during childhood, during the developmental age. Most people don't think children can get mental illnesses. Well, children actually do get mental illnesses. And let's talk about mental illnesses that start right from the developmental age. In particular, I wanted to talk about neurodevelopmental issues. They're quite a number, but let's talk about intellectual disability. In intellectual developmental disorder. Well, when you hear neurodevelopmental disorders, neuro is brain, development is growth, so intellectual disability falls under neurodevelopmental disorders. And basically, you hear the deficits in intellectual functioning and adaptive functioning. Intellectual functioning, we're talking about reasoning, we're talking about problem solving, planning, thinking, and judgment. Adaptive functioning, adapting is like acquiring skills to be able to navigate through life. So adaptive functioning, like communication. So basically, there will be, when you look at a child in relation to their peers, there will be a delay, or there will be, reduced functioning in those areas. And if you just being a mother, it's better to talk about that. So if you are a parent out there, you think your child is probably 8 years, but probably reason to think like 4-year-old, 3-year-old, they have very poor judgment, poor memory. The reasoning is actually bad, perceptually and quantitatively. It's okay to visit a health center. Maybe you're not being bewitched. Maybe there's actually a problem that needs medical attention. But also to note, intellectual disability can be associated with genetic disorders, like genetic syndromes like Down syndrome, Leishman syndrome, Rett syndrome. Maybe a child has a syndrome you do not know about because you don't know the features. Seek medical help. If you need a psychiatrist, you'll be referred to one. Also, they can be acquired through infections, maybe encephalitis, meningitis as the child is growing up. If they get any of those illnesses, they're convulsing a lot, please seek medical attention, because prevention is better than cure. If you treat this child early, you're probably saving them from a great deal in their lifetime. Yeah, a good point to note is intellectual disability is usually non-progressive, except in genetic disorders it can worsen or stabilize, keep worsening and stabilizing, so there are waves. And the cause may be influenced by underlying genetic conditions, like maybe visual or hearing impairments. This is okay to note. You may think your child doesn't, has poor verbal comprehension, yet they just have a hearing problem. So what I'm trying to say is seek medical help. Yeah, so let's talk about the risk factors. This is important. Risk factors. We have prenatal and perinatal. When I talk of prenatal, I mean things that happen during uterine period as the fetus is in the womb. And these could include environmental factors like alcoholic mothers who take drugs, teratogenic drugs. Please be careful when you're pregnant, the drugs you take, because there's some drugs that can actually harm the fetus and cause issues in the process. Always inform the doctor you're pregnant when you go to a health center, and always only take prescription from a health facility during pregnancy, because you do not know what you may get out there. It may cause issues to your baby. Well, it could be genetic disorders, it could be toxic metabolic conditions like diabetes or hypertension. Could be infections, from the mother that could be transmitted to the baby through the placenta. So when you're sick as a mother, seek medical attention. Then perinatal causes. This could happen during labor or after labor. Could be prolonged labor, and we get a hypoxic ischemic injury where there's reduced blood flow to the brain of the child because the labor is very prolonged. So please, during labor, always go to a health facility, because there are interventions that can be put into place in case the health workers realize, oh, this labor is prolonged, something could go wrong here. Yeah, and also it could be infections that could be passed on either from the mother to the child during labor, or it could be hospital acquired infections that can also happen actually. And another thing to note, the disorders. Maybe the child keeps convulsing. Please, when your child is convulsing, take them to a hospital. These convulsions can affect the brain in a way, and child gets issues along the way, and you think maybe they're being bewitched. Well, where I come from, people blame a lot of things on witchcraft. Maybe it's not witchcraft, maybe it was neglect. Just always seek medical advice, always. It doesn't harm. And also something to note is intellectual disability is more common in males than females. Yeah, well, a good thing to note is, I think I already said, intellectual disability is usually non-progressive unless otherwise. So always, please seek medical help. You will be referred to a psychiatrist, and there could be some other comorbidities with the intellectual disability. Just seek medical advice. Next time we'll talk about another neurodevelopmental disorder. Thank you. Have a nice